Welcome to the N4R podcast, where we do well-researched policy analysis and political commentary for Kenya and the rest of the world. No fluff, no spins, just conversations that matter. And today, we are breaking down one story that every Kenyan who cares about their vote needs to understand right now. So, on July the 9th, IEBC chairperson Erastus Ethekon stood before the media and issued a stern warning that stopped a lot of people in their tracks. The Olkalau parliamentary by-election scheduled for July the 16th could be postponed or cancelled altogether. His exact words were these: "If we find that the environment is not conducive enough for us to conclude the by-election in Olkalau, we'll be left with no choice other than to take the unfortunate and drastic step of postponing the election. If that is not enough, we will cancel it altogether." Three documented reasons were given, that is voter bribery, gun-related violence, including one death on July the 1st, and illegal night campaigns that violate IEBC's own electoral code of conduct. Investigations were deployed, and a final decision was promised by Monday, July the 13th. So, just to bring you up to speed with what transpired in Olkalau, the seat fell vacant after the death of the area MP David Kiaraho. The constituency has two main contenders, UDA's Samuel Mushina Nyaga, backed by the ruling party and the state machinery, and DCP's own Kamau Ngodho, supported by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. This is not just a local by-election. Political observers across the board describe it as the first real electoral test of power between President Ruto and his former deputy, and a significant litmus test for Mount Kenya's shifting political allegiances ahead of 2027. The IEBC has already spent 30 million preparing for this election. Ballot papers, constituency logistical preparations are complete, and the cost of postponement, financial, institutional, and democratic, are highly significant. So, let us be clear on one pertinent thing. The IEBC does not have legal mandate here. Under Kenya's Constitution and the Elections Act, the Commission is empowered to ensure free, fair, and credible elections. It has the authority to postpone elections under documented security threats, to disqualify candidates found guilty of electoral offenses, and to summon violators through its Code of Conduct Enforcement Committee. The IEBC is not inventing powers it does not have. The documented violations is cited: voter bribery, gun violence, illegal night camps, and the use of hired goons, and one death are real electoral offenses under the law. A video circulating on social media allegedly showing Nakuru East MP David Ikaria distributing cash in exchange for identity cards was confirmed by Ethekon as part of the Commission's ongoing investigations. These are not minor infractions. So, here is where the data raises some questions worth sitting with. Olkalau is not the first by-election to experience violence, bribery, or intimidation. It is worth comparing what the records show across recent by-elections. We remember very well in Malava, 2025, Kasipul Kabondo, 2025, Baringo North, 2024, and Narok Township, 2024. Where vehicles were torched, hotels were vandalized, armed goons raided opposition premises, and a Prado was set ablaze in Malava. And in Kasipul Kabondo, we remember very well, Peter Kaluma was physically attacked and in one of the polling stations, and a bodyguard's firearm was taken by armed youth. And there have been also widespread reports of violence and electoral irregularities in Baringo North, and reports of violence and electoral irregularities as well in Narok Township in 2024. But for these particular by-elections, there was no threat or cancellation that was done, and the elections proceeded as it was planned. But this specific one in Malava, we see threats have been issued to cancel the by-election all through. So the pattern in the table does not answer the question of whether this election should or should not be cancelled. What it does raise are legitimate institutional questions. What is the consistent threshold that triggers this level of response? Because without a clear published consistency applied standard, the threat of cancellation, however legally grounded, will always be read through the political lens in an environment this charged. The Daily Nation editorial put it well, saying cancellation would be, and I quote, an unfortunate blanket punishment of even the innocent people, while the culprits strut around free to further display their criminal impunity. So the IEBC has tools short of cancellation. It can disqualify candidates. It can summon and prosecute violators. It has called on the DCI and the Director of Public Prosecution to act, and the existence of those tools make the leap to full cancellation a significant institutional step, one that warrants a very clear public justification. So, what did Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro say? He said and made a point that actually cuts across party lines. He said this by-election should be treated as a rehearsal for 2027 general elections. And he is right. How the IEBC handles Olkalau, whether it enforces law surgically against those who broke it, or whether it pulls the entire election, will set a precedent for how Kenyans trust the Commission to manage a general election involving 22 million registered voters. The question Rigathi Gachagua posed is actually a valid institutional question regardless of who is asking. If the IEBC cannot manage security in one constituency, how will Kenyans trust it to conduct a nationwide general elections? That question deserves a serious answer, not a political one. So, the IEBC's concerns about Olkalau are not unfounded. Electoral violence is very real, voter bribery is very real, and one person is already dead. These things matter. But a democracy is not protected by cancellation of elections. It is protected by holding them credibly, enforcing the law consistently, and ensuring that every citizen can exercise their constitutional right to vote and to be represented in parliament. The people of Olkalau deserve both a credible election and their vote. The IEBC's decision on Monday will tell us a great deal about which one is willing to prioritize. Stay informed, stay sharp.